from the iceberg with a grand polar, coming to you over the Ethernet and into your ears.
Right, let's get started then. It's up to you. Yeah, tell us about yourself, how you got started, the band, everything.
I started pursuing music about 5.5, 6 years ago. I was going through some sort of life changes. I left a very long-term relationship and I decided to do something for myself. And music is something that I've always wanted to do, but just never really got around to doing it because of lots of reasons. My family didn't do singing. They think that, being a singer is not something practical. You don't earn money from it. And they're not far wrong. But it's something that has always been inside of me and is something that I feel like I need to do. So after I broke up with my ex-husband, I decided to sort of pursue music in a more structured way. I wanted to write songs. I wanted to sing my songs. I feel like I have lots to write about. And so I set out to do that. And so I wrote lyrics. I, started singing the lyrics and, making up songs that way. And then I thought that I obviously want to be able to accompany myself. So I thought I would start learning the guitar. So that was about 5.5 years ago now when I started learning the guitar. And started with acoustic, and my fingers were very sore, obviously, at the beginning. But I tried to persevere, but I was very slow in changing chords. So all the songs were very, very, very slow at the beginning. I mean, you hear the album now, you wouldn't think that I used to do songs very, very slow. But so that's how I started. And then I thought I wanted to learn more about music production because ultimately I want to turn the songs into, produced music. And so I joined a music production course, like an introduction to music production. And that's where I met Marco, who is now my lead guitarist, who is also my partner as well. We got together later on. So he has... he helped me to arrange some of the songs so that we can go out to open mics. And while I was doing very simple strum, very slowly, he was filling it out with arpeggios and, nice melodies and things, just to make it more pleasant when we do these performances. So that's how we started, really. And then after a while, he heard all the songs and he thought that they have a lot more potential if, we are to do it as a full band. So that's why we set out to recruit a bass player and a drummer. And after a few changes and here and there, people not working out, we finally had our lined up. And that was back in, I think it was 2018 now. And we went on to record our first album. I was very inexperienced, obviously, as a songwriter, as a singer, as a guitarist. But we nevertheless did it because I felt I was running out of time because I'm, I'm older and I feel that I should have started a long time ago and I didn't. And so I felt like I was rushing. I wanted to do something quickly. So we went into the studio. We had like 11 songs and we went recorded everything and we put it out, and it was actually quite well received. And we gigged around Scotland here and there, and then the pandemic started. Our last gig was like March 2020, and then when the pandemic started. So we basically used that time. We did the second part of the production course. So trying to be constructive with the time. We wrote songs together. We went from, the songwriting went from me writing first, and then the band come together to arrange, to me and Marco sort of starting from scratch. Maybe I have an idea and he adds his idea, or vice versa. So our songwriting has, evolved as well in that time. So this new album has songs that was written by me initially, years ago, and it's not totally transformed. And then there are songs that me and Marco have written from scratch, and some of the topics were, we've chosen a topic to write about as well, which is like I really like that kind of songwriting, something that matters to me, and I want to write a song about it, and I set out to write a song about it. So I really like writing to breathe, that kind of exercise. And so during the pandemic, we couldn't really get together to practice, to arrange the songs. So my bass player, his brother, who is now our drummer, Tony, he is, he's got electronic drum kit, and he's got programs, and he knows how to program drums. So we just sort of work remotely to try to arrange some of the stuff until we managed to get together. And so that's how this second album kind of like pulled together during the pandemic. And once the restriction was lifted, we then went into the studio. So that was last year now, June last year, we went into the studio, started the recording process. So it's been a while. It's almost a year since we recorded it. So it's great that it's finally going to be released.
And then obviously you're doing a lot of gigs now. You seem to be pretty busy promoting the album. How's that going?
We've had 4 gigs so far. Yeah, that's right. So we did the album launch we're still in May. So at the beginning of May, and we did another 3 gigs since then. Because I think because the album itself is not out digitally yet until Friday. So we've been sort of trying to sell the CDs and stuff. But some people are not really buying CDs anymore. So so it's been good to gig around, especially after the pandemic, not being able to gig for so long. So it's actually great to be back on stage and to sort of meet folk afterwards as well, to chat to them, to see what they think about the music. So so we've got another gig this Friday, and then another one in a couple of weeks, and then we'll sort of have a break during the summer.
Yeah, it's interesting what you say. Every band that I've spoken to around the whole world, they've all followed the same process. I was talking to someone in Greece from Absence Green a couple of weeks ago, and she said as well, they took the pandemic period to consolidate their music and the album, and to really, they had time to fine-tune it. There was no deadline, and it was kind of like, it's actually done wonders for musicians in that way. It made life hard because you couldn't work, you couldn't gig or anything like that. But from a musicality point of view, it really kind of helped. And then also now, when you're going out in front of a live audience, I mean, the audiences have been so starved from live performances that they're like, so it really in a way, you could say it's been helpful for.
I think one way or another. There are some other after effects. I think most bands will feel as well. There's so many things that has been rescheduled, for example, and you end up having a cramp of lots of things going on at the same time, and one person can only go to one of them, and and then there are people. I've heard things about people buying tickets but not turning up because they're still not too sure about attending gigs and stuff. So there's a mixture of things. I think people do, some people who have underlying illnesses will still be cautious and want to protect themselves and don't want to be, in crowded places, etc. But overall, definitely there's no restrictions now in the UK anyway, and people do go back to gigs now, which is good to see. And
gosh, I think in that whole 5 minutes you covered everything.
I talked a lot if you don't stop me.
The one thing I don't know yet is, who are your musical influences? I mean, who inspired you in the early days? You know, who did you listen to when you were a teenager? What sort of music did you like listen to? And
I think I must have had, a range of influences that I never really think about, explored until much more recently, because people like you would ask me questions like that, which I never thought about before, by the way. But being from a different country, Hong Kong being a Chinese place, a Chinese-speaking place, but have lots and lots of Western influences at the time, and British, American, influences at the time. So I knew from about 14, 15 that I didn't like Canton pop. It's not something that I enjoy. And so I was actively trying to seek out Western music. I also had a very strong interest in languages. And at the time, English is the other language that we would learn. And I wanted to learn English through music. That was another thing, because music is something I know I like and I love. And learning to sing English songs would be something to help me to learn English at the time. So I was actively seeking out. And I was only telling the audiences in the album launch that my first cassette that I bought when I was 14 was True Blue by Madonna. And a long time ago. And I went through that pop phase over maybe a year, and I decided that I wanted something heavier. And so I went on to explore rock and metal, and the likes of a lot of American bands at the time, like Guns N' Roses, Bon Jovi, and Def Leppard, and Queen. Those kind of mixture of bands. I was looking at finding out about them. And then I came over here, and my ex was very into the likes of Metallica, Iron Maiden, and other guitarists, guitar music generally, Yngwie Malmsteen, and Joe Satriani, Steve Vai, and people like that. So also over time, I've been exposed to quite a lot of different things, but if you ask me what has influenced me, and I think I can maybe boil it down to a couple of particular bands, and a lot of my melodies might be coming from sort of traditional Chinese music, or part of that. That's sort of my minor scale that I love, the very sad melody that I love. Lyrics wise, I was very, very impressed and inspired by an English band called All About Eve. And the lyrics that they write are just so beautiful. Like, they create the scenery and everything. And also Amy Lee from Evanescence, she writes absolutely beautiful, beautiful lyrics. And I also really love her voice. So I think there are those particular influences that I would say that I take some elements from. But collectively, as a band, and as songwriters, also Marco obviously bring neoclassical guitar and things like that. He grew up in the era of, Gary Moore, Blackmore, and, the whole, Purple, Deep Purple, Rainbow, and he loved Ozzy Osbourne, and, all those kind of heroes, if you like. And so he brings quite a bit of that. And then we have our bass player and our drummer, who are kind of really proggy. And they also, they love their prog, they love their metal as well. So, all kind of brings all these different things to the table. And ultimately the blend of, the heavy rock that we have is a mixture of all of us, in a way, a lot of our different influences.
Yeah, because I would definitely I can definitely pick up the prog influences
Yeah.
because your song structures and the way they are, they're not your typical song structures.
Yeah.
There are those proggy elements. Now, I picked that up, and that's what I like about a lot of the songs.
Brilliant.
Yeah, good on that. I don't know if you know about this. It's getting quite popular on the internet.
Okay.
It's very straightforward.
Okay.
10 simple questions.
Okay.
Say the first thing that comes into your mind.
Okay.
There's no right or wrong answer, really. Are you ready?
Okay.
Let's start with the easy one.
Chinese food, homemade Chinese food. If you asked me a few years ago, I'd probably say Hong Kong, but now I'm going to say Edinburgh, where I am. I love Edinburgh. There's so many. I'm going to say Evanescence. Easy, black. Oh, movie. There's again a lot. I don't know. Terminator. Favorite song. It is hard. I'm gonna pick Lithium, Evanescence. Absolutely beautiful song. Oh, I have a dog, animal, dog. I love dogs. Again, these are hard questions, man. There's lots of them. I don't have a favorite. They are just lots of good actors. I don't know, Morgan Freeman. Jasmine tea. That's not a trick question. No. Of course it's your radio station. Bulldogs, come on. Yay! Did I get that right?
I told you it wasn't difficult. At least he didn't say Johnny Depp.